Okay.
Hello, welcome ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's webinar session focused on very recent topic, which is DDoS protection for high-speed networks. First of all, let me say some general instructions to this webinar session. We use GoToWebinar software, as you can see, and all attendees are muted by default. Please, for raising the questions, use chat application or questions application, and feel free to ask us during the webinar. I will check your questions during the session and we will try to answer it during it. My name is Luboš Lunter. I'm a product manager of Flomo Networks, and I'm very happy that I can welcome my special guest today, which is Gerald Schaapman. I can't pronounce it properly in Dutch, so Gerald, can you pronounce it for us?
Yes, Gerald Schaapman, calling from the...
Sorry for that. He is IT security specialist and NBIP, which is provider of non-profit nationwide scrubbing center in Netherlands and Benelux region called NaWas. So there is really great story behind the NaWas, and I personally very like the way how ISPs cooperate and in Benelux region on this non-profit fight against DDoS attacks. So hello Gerald, welcome. Thank you for joining us, and could you please introduce yourself and NBIP NaWas and share some story about the NaWas with us?
Okay, thank you, Luboš. Yes, I'm Gerald Schaapman. I'm 25 years already involved with the IT, a lot of experience. I'm currently responsible for the management of the operation of the NaWas, how we call it in the Netherlands. The NaWas is a short code for the National Anti-DDoS Wasstraat. That's also Dutch, but the best translation is a scrubbing cleaning machine, so as we call it. We do that for the NBIP. The NBIP is a foundation, a non-profit foundation in the Netherlands. We are already, it's in 2005 we started it. We are a foundation for internet service providers here in the Netherlands. We're doing services they commonly needed. We started with something called law interception services, and from 3-4 years ago we started with the anti-DDoS service. Interesting is that we started it non-profit. It's commonly made. It's a service we will speak about, not Luboš. We will tell more about it, how it works, and etc. etc. But the nice thing is that the service is such a success that a lot of national internet service providers are using it. But we are also already we're doing some services outside of the Netherlands.
Thank you for... Yeah, okay, go, keep going. If you...
no, thank you. It's a small introduction, but we can tell more about it.
Okay, we definitely will talk more about it. Thank you very much for your introduction of yourself and also NBIP and NaWas. At the beginning, let me also introduce Flomo very briefly, because I've seen in registrants also some new participants. So very briefly, who is Flomo? We are a vendor of network traffic monitoring, network performance, and security monitoring. Now we have over 700 customers worldwide. We are very technology driven. We were the first vendor with 100G probes in the world, and also we do have very strong R&D background. We cooperate very tightly with academia, and we are European based. We are from Czech Republic and spreading our technology over the world here from Czech Republic. On the right side you can see some of our customers. but what is really important for us is cooperation with technology vendors, and we also cooperate with NBIP and NaWas, and we do have very good synergy because of our detection of DDoS attacks and their mitigation capabilities in their cloud. So this was very briefly about our company, and now very brief insight how it works, what we do, and then we will focus on DDoS and on our cooperation with NaWas, and we will look at DDoS topic more deeply. But in general, we provide flow monitoring technology, which central appliance is called Flowmon Collector. You can see it in the center of the picture, and then the collector consumes flow from various devices, and over the collector there are software applications for analysis of this flow data. So typically in an ISPs environment, the flow is collected from deployed router switches and other devices, or if there's needed some deeper visibility into layer 7, there can be used Flowmon probe. The flows are collected on the Flowmon collector. There is also the analytics and reporting on the collector, and you can have modules for advanced data, flow data analysis. And for now and for today is the top right module and top right use case important, because we use flow data for fast flow-based volumetric DDoS detection, and then we can provide the mitigation over, for example, NaWas cloud. So this is about the synergy, about our technology, how it works. And now let's take a look on the DDoS in more detail. I'm sure you know that stuff from various reports or from security companies, but I will use our guest today to discuss another statistics. I'm sure, Gerald, you have some statistics from NaWas, so tell us something about how the typical DDoS attack looks like in your region.
Yes. There's a lot to tell about it. First of all, we have on this moment subscribed more than 100 ESPs on this moment. So we are not talking about one ESP DDoS attack, but from a couple of them. And average is 2 to 3 DDoS attacks each day we see here in the Netherlands. And the average is something around 20 gigabits BPS. That's mainstream. We have also have a lot bigger attacks, but that is the average. And the last couple of months, we see also more than one DDoS attack at once. A bigger one to shut services down, but also a slow one to do very nasty things. But we have the capacity of 1 tera BPS, but we are not using that all at once, and we are scaling when what is needed on this moment. Do you have a specific question about this, Lubos?
I would ask, as we cooperate in 2 ways, that first of all, we are compatible in technology way, that we can detect and you can mitigate, so we can cooperate. This is the first use case, but you also use Flowmon internally. So can you introduce how you use Flowmon and how is it helpful in that mitigation stuff you are doing in NaWas?
Okay, first of all, we are using more than one vendor for the anti-DDoS scrubbing center. And they have also have their own DDoS analyze labeling software. But on this moment, our favor is Flowmon to detect and to see the details of a DDoS attack, and that's the way we are using on this moment Flowmon. We need Flowmon because of this. We would like, of course, the interface, but we like also the scalable and the lot of options to detect what kind of DDoS is going on. That's the way we use it in our own environment. It's a little different.
And do you also receive information from your ISPs using this service? Do you also receive some attack signature or some characteristics of the attack, or are you doing the analysis of the attack by your own always?
No, we do the analysis on our own. At first, we are using also the vendors of the anti-DDoS also for some signatures, but we are using mainly our own detection and also signatures from Flowmon also.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Now let's have a look and let's discuss various protection strategies which are typically used. First of all, of course, inline detection and mitigation, which mostly fits enterprises according to limited number of uplinks. The deployment is pretty straightforward. You put mitigation device in the line, and of course there is one great advantage of this approach, that it can cover layer 7 attacks, and the detection and mitigation can be very fast. But the most important limitation is that this approach can be used only up to the uplink capacity. Sometimes these devices also work in hybrid mode, so they mitigate up to their own capacity, and if the attack is over the capacity, they redirect the high volume attack into the cloud. And another approach which is used more commonly in ISPs environments, called out-of-path mitigation, which is focused on volumetric attacks and can serve for many uplinks and big throughput. And what we do together is flow-based detection combined with out-of-path or cloud mitigation. How do you see the advantages, or can you comment on another advantages, disadvantages on this inline and out-of-path? How do you see, how is it used in your regions?
Now, the main reason for using out of band DDoS protection is, of course, the uplink capacity. It's the main reason. But there is also another reason, and that's when you do it your own, or do it in your own environment, you have to get knowledge of DDoS attacks. It's not that simple, and so that's also an investment in that kind of knowledge and that kind of vendors who are protecting you against that. When you always go out of band, it's also not that you are not always in control of the traffic. So that's why we have the solution from both. We are protecting. Yes.
Yeah.
Is
Okay.
that a good answer on your question, Lubos?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for the comment. And now I will introduce few scenarios of deployment, how we detect and how we can cooperate in which scenarios with mitigation devices, and then we will discuss. One of the scenario will be also the NaWas scenario. So let's take a look on the first. The first is classic out-of-band or out-of-path mitigation. On the left side, we have all the routers with uplinks to the internet. There is service provider core, and on the right side are protected objects, which can be defined as the network of each customer or whatever defined by network segments. And there is deployed Flowmon collector, which collects net flow data, and it learns baselines to detect DDoS attacks. And once the attack is secured, there is detected by the DDoS defender, and it can provide the BGP route injection to divert the traffic through mitigation appliance and to ensure cleaning the traffic. So this is the first scenario. Would you add something to this first scenario, Gerald, or?
No, this is perfectly described. This is the first scenario.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Another one is pretty interesting today, as it uses a BGP flow spec feature. I will show you that the beginning is similar to the first, so the flow data collection to the Flowmon collector, then learning baselines, and when the attack occurs, there is done the BGP flow spec and sending signature to the router with BGP flow spec capability. So you can define how the attack looks like by here on this example, by destination IP, destination port, which protocol is used, and you can command the router what to do with such a traffic. So you can mitigate directly on the router this attack. I can say that this is something like smarter remotely triggered black hole, which is a really common tool for dropping the traffic. But this is smart dropping the traffic when you say which traffic should be dropped, or the drop is only one of the option, because you can also rate limit. You can forward this kind of traffic to scrubbing service. So you have a lot of options, and this is one of the trends in DDoS mitigation strategies. So we will see how it will be spread next years. So how it will be used in practice. And then the third one is the NaWas mitigation scenario. That means scrubbing scenario. I will go through very fast, and then I will ask you, Gerald, to comment it in more detail. Again, we have the infrastructure. We collect net flow data from the border router to Flowmon collector. There is again collection and learning baselines. And once the attack is detected, the traffic diversion is done, and then the traffic is sent through the NaWas scrubbing, and NaWas sends only the clean traffic. So this was the very brief description, and now please, Gerald, comment this scenario in more detail.
Yes, this is the NaWas scenario. It's a very simple solution. That's what we like. Not that complex. As Lubos said, the DDoS is detected within your own network, and on that moment there is a BGP injection, and all the traffic goes to the NaWas scrubbing center. There we monitor it, there we clean it. You get also directly within half an hour, you get a report from the DDoS attack, what kind of attack it is, what is the main target of the attack, and from our scrubbing center you get also monitor data, so that you can see the DDoS flow data, and also monitor how big the DDoS is within the scrubbing center and not in your own network. The clean traffic is going to a private connection to your main route or within your network, and the website or what other kind of service you are having and is under attack is still working and keeps working. We are protecting all services, not only websites, but for example, also voice over IP. It's all and streaming TV also. All it is working when we are scrubbing. That's the main work of the way it works with NaWas.
Yeah, maybe I will ask if you have some idea about the time which is needed, or Flowmon collector works with 30 seconds granularity, which means that it can detect attack about half a minute, and how long it takes to start the mitigation.
First of all, when you have a DDoS attack, then the service is down. That's the problem. So, and we are providing a service which provides this, so that your service is as short down as is possible. The mitigation is always a couple of minutes. The internet has to know that the traffic goes to the NaWas and not to your own network. But it can be very fast, and the service will be down half a minute, minutes sometimes, and that's the time. So it's a solution for when you have a DDoS attack, and that's the main reason then.
Yeah, I understand, and maybe we can highlight that this is on-demand scenario, so customer does not need to pay for always-on service.
Yes,
so
yes, it's a good question, Libos. Yes, we have discussed this a lot, but we have chosen the not always-on scenario. That's because we want to have the cost as low as possible. When we have the always-on, then we have to have a lot of capacity for all the subscribers, the customer of our service, and that's the main reason we use only when needed this service, and it's working very well. When you have a DDoS attack, then the BGP message of traffic injection is also for a prefix /24 prefix. So not all your traffic from your whole from all your services is going to the scrubbing center, but only the attacker's prefix. And because you have the network traffic from our scrubbing center, you can also take back the route again when the DDoS is over.
Yeah, great. Thank you for that. Maybe if some attendee has some question, raise it in chat application or in question application. We can discuss it now.
Yes.
I can't see for now any questions, so we will move to discussion. Yeah, we have now presented some different mitigation scenario and approaches of mitigation, and of course there are commonly used out of PAB. Commonly used is that cloud NaWas cloud scenario. There was also BGP Pulse scenario. Maybe do you have information in your region which is the most common of these approaches? Is all of ISPs, or what ratio of ISPs do you use that cloud-based mitigation? Or
well, at the beginning we focused on the smaller ISPs. and that was going good, and that's also the solution for them. They don't need an anti-DDoS solution, and they don't need knowledge about it. They can have our service, and they are protected. But the last year, we are also protecting very large ISPs because they have their own solution. But when it gets very big, the DDoS, they can fail over to us. And that's also an interesting scenario. And that you see much more this year, and I think ook in a couple of years, that the NaWas is some kind of insurance, some kind of failover scenario for the big DDoS attacks or the very nasty intelligent DDoS attacks. So that's some trends we see. The last year we saw also a trend in DDoS which would not take 1 hour or something like that, but took 3 days, one DDoS attack. And it was not a very large one, but they are 3 days. So that kind of trends you see also, and that are not very nice DDoS attacks, but we can solve that. And our price model is very interesting. We have we have a flat fee pricing. So you have to pay based on the size you're on, the prefixes you have, and you are the price is based on the number of attacks you get each month, but the price is not based on the size of the traffic. We can do that because we have in the meanwhile a lot of subscribers, and we have very good prices for the traffic, the transits.
How many customers at all do you have now, or ISPs involved in NaWas?
Our foundation has more than 150 subscribers. In the Netherlands we have 250 in total, are small and bigger ones. And for our service, DDoS service, we are now on 60 big ISPs who are using it.
That's really nice numbers. So, and can you see some changes in DDoS in terms of number of DDoS attacks? I mean that you know, attackers learn that you use some protection, or your customers or partners use protection, and maybe the attacks are not so common as before. Or can you see some changes in this?
Yes, we see some changes. The two things about that. One is that you can see that there is a DDoS attack, and it's a simple attack with a lot of traffic, UDP, DNS attack or something like that. And when the traffic is routed by our scrubbing center, then we see a change in the traffic. They are using more sophisticated DDoS attacks. We can protect it, of course, but we see a change in it. There is somebody on the other side tuning some DDoS and trying some DDoS attacks, different DDoS attacks, and that's a trend we see in the last period. Also interesting is, of course, when there are some political issues. In the Netherlands, we had our collection, and then in that period, we had a website who is giving information about the election, and we protect that website also, because else they were down. So you see, depending on what is going on the internet, also within the political structure, you see trends. You see also behavior about that.
Yeah, so you have to be always tuned for another improvement to be able to catch more sophisticated attacks. So I can see now the question from audience. How do you return back cleaned traffic from NaWas to ISP network?
Good question. That's done by the NLEX or the Amsterdam IX, and it's a private connection. So when you want to use our service, we have some kind of intake period, 2 weeks, a month, and there we set up a private connection between your internal network and our backend, as we describe it, and that is the way the clean traffic is returned to you.
Okay, thank you. There is another question. Can an ISP outside Netherlands with its own Flowmon DDoS detect attacks and use NaWas for scrubbing in an automated way? Like if customer outside the Netherlands can use your scrubbing service?
Yes, that can. It's already been done. The way it works is that we are then, the scrubbing center is some kind of transit in that way. So the traffic is, when you have a DDoS attack, then the BGP injection tells the internet that all the traffic goes to our scrubbing center in the Netherlands, and at the back end we can return it to you by the NLEX. That's a big company or big party, and they have connections all over the world and also in European Union, and there you can have returned the cleaning traffic. So it's no problem to connect your ISPs outside of the Netherlands.
And what about your plan?
But we have also plans to have a scrubbing center not only located in Amsterdam with a failover, but also located outside of the Netherlands. But the primary cleaning scrubbing center will also always be Amsterdam. It's the main port worldwide traffic location, so it's no problem. Everybody already gets traffic from Amsterdam for the Netherlands. It's a main port.
Okay, thank you very much for answering the question. I will check if there is another from the audience. Yeah, not yet. So maybe we can. Yeah, you shared experiences with us. Do you also plan some? Do you also plan some improvements in Netherlands, like to move, for example, for enterprise segment? As I know, you now work with ISPs. Do you see some potential in enterprise, or can you serve somehow for enterprises, like they often use inline protection, and is relevant this scrubbing and mitigation in cloud for enterprises, or how do you see this potential?
What I already told is that enterprises are also interested in our service because of the failover possibility. And on this moment, we have two of the three biggest ISPs in the Netherlands are also already using our services, and also the Dutch television companies are also using our service. Yeah, it's a very interesting module for protecting against DDoS, and you can also do something about it yourself, but when it gets too big and too complicated, you can use us, and that's our model. And it's also interesting that the government is also looking at us. I think not that you get a Netherlands or a Dutch anti-DDoS or something like that, but there are also mainstream services which has to go to go on and can use our services when they are on attack, on a DDoS attack.
I see.
Okay, this what may be also interesting is that we are independent, of course, and but our subscribers has to do themselves the mitigation, also detection of DDoS. But what we see is that most of the subscribers on this moment are using Flowmon because of the facilities within Flowmon. And the interesting part is that when they do the detection with Flowmon, we can also reuse their detection data in our environment. It's also very interesting, I think.
Yeah, that is nice synergy between this solution that once the data are at customer, you can use it, so you can be faster maybe in the mitigation then.
Yes, and also making the right rules to clean the traffic.
Yeah, exactly. There is another question. How do you compare to Cloudflare, who is also offering similar services?
Yeah, but the Cloudflare is also is more the always on protection, and we are using not always on. That's quite a different. And what also is important, that you as a provider has to have an AS number, such as you call it, because you have to do BGP traffic announcements. And that's also different with Cloudflare. They also protect a domain or a website. That small we are not protecting. You have to have your own AS number.
Yeah, and is that a non-profit structure or non-profit background some advantage with this kind of commercial competition, because there are on the market another cloud-based scrubbing, but they are often known as very pricey or expensive for smaller, especially for the smaller ISPs. So is this some kind of advantage or not?
Yeah, with our subscribers are ISPs, so we are that's our nature. So and that's also our focus. So we will get the cost as low as possible for them, and also such as efficient as possible. So yeah, it's a non-profit module, so I think it's the best module you can have. You have a flat fee for the traffic. I think that's quite unique, and also there's some nice story about it, that when next year we have more subscribers and our service is doing very good, we having more income than outcome, then we are lowering the prices. That's our main stream. We are not commercial. We are non-profit.
Yeah, that's always nice for customers when prices are lowering.
Yes, that's quite surprising for some customers, I can tell you.
Yeah, these days I believe that.
We have another service where we are putting money back after a year, and that's really surprising for customers.
Yeah, you must be beloved by your customers. Okay, I can see any other question now. So I will, maybe we are out of time, so I will close the session. There is some summarizing slide at the end of my presentation that there is very important nowadays to do this detection and DDoS mitigation stuff, and doing it cost effectively is very important for some customers. If it is not the biggest ISP, it's important to save money and to be protected. Yeah, maybe there is another question, so we can get back to it. How do you advertise a BGP route which redirect traffic to scrubbing center? So yeah, there is. You said in DDoS Defender, you said in DDoS Defender the BGP redirection, so the DDoS Defender knows when the attack is detected what to do with that kind of traffic. Or maybe if you use some special settings for that, Gerald?
No. It is you do a BGP injection, so you tell the world that the traffic is not taken by but by our scrubbing center, and then the traffic goes to our scrubbing center. That's the nice thing about BGP. It's quite simple. You tell the world, the internet, that you are responsible for the traffic. Who is responsible for the traffic? And it is also important to notice that you are always in charge with our solution. We are not rerouting the traffic. It's you who are rerouting the traffic to our scrubbing center and back again. That's you are in control. We are only scrubbing, and we are only reporting, and we are only scrubbing as best as we can, and reporting about it. It's a quite simple solution, but very successful.
Yeah, and the last question is if you are also suitable for national academic networks members of GEANT, like that is meant by like NRANs. Is your capacity suitable for this kind of academic NRANs, or?
Yeah, we have for a start we have more than one vendor, anti-DDoS vendor. So they are very busy with updating their signatures, their anti-DDoS capacity. That's one part, and we are also working together with the University of here in the Netherlands to analyze and to be ready for new DDoS attacks. So we also that kind of attacks we can manage.
Yeah. Okay.
That was to your question.
I think it is the answer on that question from our attendee.
Yes, we will. Maybe I can add to that we are also testing our own environment, our own DDoS environment with sophisticated DDoSes, so we can, so that our scrubbing center is always scrubbing in the right way. We are learning, constantly learning.
Yeah, that is needed always. So, as there is no another question, as there was a GEANT meant in the question, I can just, here is one of our reference. GEANT also uses Flowmon UPC. Here is some nice reference from Aspire, and this is really the end of our session. So thank you very much, Gerald, for sharing your experiences, your knowledge, and your stories about NaWas. I'm sure this is interesting to spread to the world, that also in non-profit way is an option sometimes for this kind of fighting with DDoS attacks. So thank you very much for joining.
Okay, thank you very much, Libos.
Okay, thank you all attendees for your participation on this event, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the future in some of our future webinar session. Thank you, take care, and goodbye.
Thank you.